Biohacking might be someone losing weight, and that changes their health. Biohacking might be someone changing their diet significantly and deciding that perhaps having Domino's pizza delivered every morning isn't the best breakfast.
Oh,
You know, that's the sort of thing, and you don't think of it as that, but it's magnificent to get people to think you can actually, it's not really a shortcut, but it kind of is, because people get this defeatist mentality that they can't improve their health. And that was one of the things that, it didn't attract me to the business in the first place because they weren't doing it, but when they first started into this area of health, that's when I got really excited and started to build a large business. And then that went on, and as Elizabeth said later on, I went out, and at the time, I think I was about 140 kilos. So I lost about 50 kilos, something like that, 55 at the time, and over a period, basically using supplements and watching what I ate. And later on, myself, I wrote a book about it, and I got leading cardiologists and other people to write bits in the book, and the book took off, which was great in Australia. And then as we released the early versions of testing, I was really pushing to get in the country. So I've always had a real interest for this, but the challenge we've had is, while it was great for the customer, it wasn't great as a business model. And what I'm going to talk today is about the business model side, because we are at the very early stages of an entirely new business that's under the Nu Skin umbrella. So you've got a 40-year-old company, but it's an entirely new venture. It is a ground floor startup without the risk of that. Now, if you think about it, that gives people who are involved or get involved in the short term that first mover's advantage. Because if you look at these charts, this comes from Boston University, it's a chart that's all around the place. But if I can get this, oh, I got a laser. I don't know what works in it, sorry. Anyone that knows me knows I'm hopeless with technology. Usually people cringe if they let me near their computer. So only 16% of people are what they call early adopters, who see something and they want it early. You know, some people, there's always those people, something new's coming out, and they've got to have it first, right? And then there's the people like me who normally would be right here. Right? One day, I'll set up a TikTok account. One day. You know, I might even get to Instagram. I have a group of people in the States that do all their business on social media, and they just giggle because they say, don't ask him, he can't even hardly turn Facebook on and off. So on a lot of things, I'm over here. But when I see on business stuff, I like to be over here in this run. I like to be in it enough that I know it's not going to blow up in my face and fail. But I also don't want to be down here where I miss the opportunity. And this is where you are right now, because you've got a 40-year company with a track record that's creating a whole new model. And that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about it via this little thing, Prism. And hopefully, unless Elizabeth knocked it off. There she goes.
Wow.
So you look how small it is. You can just, it's in your pocket, it's there. The first one of these was like this big. Actually, the first one filled the room, the first portable one. So, and with this one, this is how long it takes to set up.
Wow.
That's it. And what happens, you put your finger on there, and it's 15 seconds, it'll go, it's doing 234,000 measurements in 15 seconds. Now, where did I just score?
Wow.
Oh.
I take the products, right?
Wow.
That's 100.
I'll be 70 next year. I take the products.
100.
My wife scores in the same area.
Whoa.
Wow.
Now, if later on when you're finished, if you're looking at this and you want an accurate, perfectly accurate picture, get yourself tested on this. This is a prototype. It's not connected into the apps and everything else I'm going to talk to you about. It will only give you that indication of colour, not numbers, and not the background at the moment. It's a prototype. It's 2 generations away from being finalised for when they launch it to some people in September. I'll turn that off so we don't run the battery down. Although they seem to go for days. You just, by the way, it just plugs in with a USB to charge it up. Takes about 30 minutes from dead flat to charge. 2 generations away. I say that and people go, oh, well, they've improved 3 generations in the last 2 months. So I was in Greece 6 weeks ago and they've had 2 of those generational improvements since then. So that's how fast this is progressing. We'll go into that. The idea with this is it's something that can go out there and truly help people take ownership of their wellness and get better. It's backed by company credibility and the stability of a company like us. And it's unique. We own the patents. We own everything with it. No one. Now, yes, can some company come up with something that looks like that? Sure they can. I'm sure they can. We'll send a picture over to China and we'll have one knocked up next week. You know, and it'll have even nicer lights than that. But what will it tell us? Nothing. And this is where I'll go through, and this is where this credibility comes in. It's on trend. We'll talk about all these things. There's 4 areas I'm going to cover: the business opportunity, the solution that create, how to make a solution to that, a little bit about the company, and a little bit about the actual business model we have. So the trends is this, and they say in business, trends your friend. If you're going against the trend, you're going to have a problem. You know, I've just been involved in helping sell furniture out of my mother's unit, and she had lovely old antiques. 30 years ago, those antiques, some of them were valued at $10,000 for a nice sideboard and thing. Try $200 today. Antiques, not the trend at the moment, right? Because people's houses have lower ceilings, they don't have the room, so you put something that's this deep and that high, and it's beautiful as it may be, it doesn't work. And so it won't work. You need to be on trend. And here we are, the global wellness industry is over $6 trillion last year. And the estimates is that by the next 4 years, it's going to that. It's in a massive runaway growth. Why? A whole lot of reasons. One of them is this. You've got an aging world. The world is getting older, with the exception of very few Western countries, no Western countries, and even countries like China. It's really aging. India's an exception to the rule. Now, what they've noticed is there's several areas in the world that they refer to as being the blue zone or centenarian zones. There's actually a really good documentary on Netflix about blue zones. I think it might even be called Blue Zone. So you look at these places around the world, and what do they have in common? Absolutely nothing. And you know what, when you look at it, their diets are different. The diet in Costa Rica and the environment's different than it is in Southern California, which is different again to Italy and Greece, which is very different to an island off the coast of Japan, where they nearly eat seafood a lot, right? So, which they don't in some other places. And so you go, wow. And so there's a lot of study has gone on into that. In fact, we did like about 5 years study on that to develop a product we call Wiseband, which is the anti-aging nutritional supplement. But this is where a lot of data has come out about longevity and wellness. And what you find is, whilst people are living longer, and that's been happening, what's happened as people start to live longer, the area between their health span, which is living longer and being in good health, as opposed to just living longer. I don't think there's anyone that wants to live to 90 or 100 or whenever if they're laying in a hospital bed with tubes out of them, or they can't walk, or they don't remember anyone's name or anything else. That's not what they want. That's not living. So the object is not so much to live long, it's to be healthy longer. Well, you know, what do you want to do on your last day? You know, you drop dead playing golf or whatever it is you like to do, you know, and that's what we're working on. And that's where you look at this whole wellness industry and why it's taking off, because people are really concerned, oh yeah, I'm getting older, but look at all the costs, the medical costs, everything else. Medical costs are bankrupt in countries. We live in one that will eventually be bankrupted. And a lot of it comes back to the aging area, but also oxidative stress. And that's where the environmental things cause more problems. They call free radicals, right? They cause oxidative stress. And most issues related to aging are related to a chronic inflammation, which is caused by oxidative stress. And it's not just by pollution, that just makes a good picture. It's by many, many things. We'll go through that. So, if that's the opportunity that the wellness industry is growing like crazy, what's the solution? Take a few of our pills. That's part of it, but no, there's a lot more to it than that. And that goes to that biohacking side, and that's where we can help people. This is our head scientist, Dr. Joe Chang, who wrote a best-selling book called The Aging Myth. It was on the New York Times bestseller list a few years ago. And it's about that idea that I said at the start about we are not our parents, that we can change our body's responses and everything else by the way we live. This is the level, these are all published scientific papers, hundreds of them, that we've published since 1984. There's hundreds on this stuff. We have credibility in the space. Now, I don't mean just business credibility. We got scientific. I can leave that up for like 10 minutes, and it's going to keep doing it. And every one of them, you can get a hold of it and go bore yourself to death and read all these scientific reports. I will go on from it. But really, what's health span? It's where everything's starting to work, be it your gut health or your bone health or your eye health or your weight or whatever it is, because really health span starts coming down to this. Obviously, it's not just supplements. Yes, we sell supplements, but what we're really doing is we want to empower people to take wellness into their own hands. We do that by helping them with diet, lifestyle, body composition, and supplementation. Because supplementation is important, and you always get people, oh, I'm just going to eat a little better. You go, okay, let's see how that works for you. And the beauty with this is you can say, let's make a date in 4 weeks and we'll test you again, see how much you've improved. Because I can tell you what will happen 9.7 times out of a pen, they won't improve. Oh, but I had a salad last week. Yes, yeah. And then you put blue cheese dressing on it. Now, so there's these 4 components of health span that really is important because they work together. And so, now here's something fascinating to me. Look at the top. This is changing because this is the deficiencies in diets in different countries showing up. Folate, 4.2. And they're different in different parts of the world. So we have the ability to customize our products in different parts of the world to address different supplementation issues. And that's a big deal. And, oh, that's me, sorry. Tell him to wait. Apologies, I had the ringer on before. It's getting picked up by
Sorry.
You look at all these, and it's fascinating. It moves. Like some countries, Australia, I think it's magnesium or something. We get heaps of with. Or
Selenium.
very little. Selenium we get so little of. And it's really interesting. I'm not going to keep it up there, but the point is that we're able to use all this information to develop products and solutions that work in different places. That's all great, but how can you tell? People say, well, I'm taking Centrum, or I'm taking this, or I'm taking that, or I went to a naturopath and they said take this, and my friend was taking this and she liked this, and you go, okay, well, how's your nutritional wellness? How's your wellness levels? Oh, pretty good, I think. Oh, why do you think that? Well, I just think it must be. You know, I do the right things. I had some salmon last night and everything else. Well, there was that chocolate chip ice cream afterwards. I had some salmon. How do you know? You can't measure. And there's a saying in science and in business, if you can't measure it, it's not real. And you can't, unless you are going to go get blood work done, you cannot accurately measure your wellness levels. Now, over the years, I actually, because I do take a lot of the supplements, I'm my own best customer. I actually once a year have blood work that looks at them all. And because I've had people tell me, oh, you'll be too high in this and too high in that, you know, the experts. Strangely enough, my cardiologist who runs the tests for me goes, they're fantastic. He says, you're like a guy that eats fish, you know, all the time. I don't like fish. I eat it maybe 4 times a year. Usually I'm out to dinner and someone's ordered it, or I'm at someone's house and I'm fine. But give me a second. You know, let's have a steak. Let's get real. Get some meat. So, but I can measure.
Yeah.
What does that mean to someone if we can measure that? Let's have a look. You've got a small finger when you use your thumb, all right?
Wow.
Oh,
That is important, by the way, if you're using this later, when you can use it after the thing. Okay, take it off. I can't get it back. Okay, she was just around here.
Am I? I thought it's purple.
Yeah.
How is
You
it
have
purple?
900.
No, that was around here.
Okay. Oh. What did you change?
But it wasn't at the bottom, don't worry. I was in a store the other day, a friend of mine owns, and we did about 20 of the staff.
450.
Everyone was in the red, but these guys live on sausage rolls, beer, and cigarettes. So it was no surprise, right? It was really no surprise.
Yeah.
But if you can't measure it, how real is it? And people are paying out, you know that approximately half of all adult Australians are taking supplements of some type.
yeah.
They're spending money on them, and they do not know if they work. Now, we'll be able to go out with something in your pocket, in your handbag, and measure that. And it won't just give you the lights, it links to your phone or your iPad or whatever you want it to link to. Now, oh, you guys just came up with this. No, we didn't. 22 years ago, we launched the first scanner. And it used a blue laser to measure against your skin the antioxidant levels. Okay? And it used what they call Raman spectrology, which is a reflective light. The concept has been around for 50 years, but the technology wasn't available. We became the first people, in combination with a US university, to put this together into a portable machine, into something that could test. Over time, we shrunk the machine and made it more robust, easier to use. This used to take an hour to warm up. Now it's about 2 minutes for this one that you can try later if you want. And you say, well, so what then? Is this just a smaller one? Where's the big business opportunity in that? Well, here's the problem with all these. They're expensive to manufacture. First one's over 20 grand, these over 10, and these over 5, US each. Manufacturing costs, we weren't selling them, that's our internal cost. We could not generate enough of them because the company was very strict on who could get them. And the problem with that is they can't get them out into the world. The most we ever had at one time worldwide out there was something like 1,000 or 2,000. In the whole world, we operate in 40 some markets. Now, we'll have 30,000 of those out by probably mid next year. We will be capable of putting out over 20,000 of these a month by the end of next year. We've got 4 manufacturing plants around the world. Why 4 in different locations? Because with all the tariff wars going on, we can then ramp up manufacturing wherever it's needed, but still lower the tariffs. We'll be able to bring these to people in our business, in-house, to start buying them in February, and I'll tell you how you can get them before that, but to start buying them in February, for, don't quote me on the price, it's not fine, but probably around 500 Australian dollars, right? And they own it at that point.
Wow.
Eventually, that we can even do it to public. That won't be next year, that'll be the year after. So over the years we've had these, that 22, 23 years, we have tested 15 million people around the world. That's a lot. That's given us 26 million sets of records, because when you get tested and they do it properly, they get a lot of information from you, and that data goes back up online and it's recorded. So we've got health data on all these people. 26 million scans. Why does that more? Because people have another one to test if their score's getting better or worse, right? So if you start taking our life pack or something and we test you again in a couple of months, and that's why there's more, which is great. Now, the leading university in the world with one of the biggest health set of records doesn't have records on 1 million people. We've got records on 26 million people. And in effect, over that 20 years, those records have been sitting in a basement at Nu Skin. They've been valuable and used for a couple of things, but we couldn't really use them until AI. And about 18 months ago, Nu Skin spent a lot of money on some data scientists. These are scientists that instead of having a glass tube, work with data. And they brought in whole teams of people, and they have been working on taking 26 million records and turning them into algorithms that are usable to give information back. Now, if Nu Skin had wanted money early, they probably could have sold those records for $100, $200 million. They didn't. So we own every one. Let's have a look. And we're going to go through some stuff on here, because what we think is these factors that we talked about: diet, supplement, lifestyle, and body composition, right? And what we see with the scanner we've been using is this: that when someone's low on fruit and veg and they don't take subs and their lifestyle choices are bad, they smoke or whatever, maybe they're overweight, they're going to score the lower down in here. And then as their health, their nutritional wellness and wellness levels are better, they're going to go higher and higher. Okay? That's essentially how it works. This is taking, out of 21 million scans, this is the chart, right, of who scored where. So you can see most people, and we just did yours, and you were just in here. So this is your big area, and then you see where it starts going down. So that's out of everyone we've ever scanned. And I'm going to start breaking this down. Now let's look at someone who doesn't take our supplements, eats less than 2 servings of fruit and veg a day, is overweight, their BMI is very high, and they smoke. So this is the poster child for not looking great. Look at their chart. That's everyone. That's those people. There's none up here, right? Now let's start looking at these factors. This is a bit fun you can have with this stuff. Let's take out the smoking. Let's say, okay, you stop smoking. Ooh. And change nothing else. That's it. Let's say that you lost a bit of weight. And I'll give you a weight story. Before I said it was over 140 kilos and stuff. When I was taking all the supplements, just as many as I take now. And I could never get my score past about here. When I lost the weight, it went out there. Still a bit heavy, but it's when they get over a certain amount. When I was obese, it was now. Okay, so this is, let's say they eat some more fruit and vegetables. None of this is us selling them our supplements yet. We've already helped them. That's one taking the supplement at half dose. Oh, that life pack's expensive. I won't take it twice a day like it says. I'll take it once.
Yeah.
And some people do that, right? Well, it's still better than nothing, certainly. Let's look at twice a day. So look what's happened compared to right? Worst case, this makes a difference to people. And what we've done is helped them avoid that oxidization that's coming with the environmental things to some degree, boosted their nutrition with their diet, helped them optimize a bit of activity and things, and start supplementing. And we've made a major difference. Now, we've been able to do that already with 21 million people. What can we do when we can put this in the hands of everyone? When we can have 10,000 of these around Sydney? What can we start doing? How many people do those start impacting? Even if each of you only talks to 5 or 10 people about it, suddenly it's that. Having it in your house, people get competitive. They start fighting over who's got the highest score. It's wonderful because then they're thinking on their health, they're trying to do better things. And part of that from a business model is the supplementation sales growth. My own view is we're currently doing around $70 to $80 million wholesale sales a year in Australia for Newstead. I believe once this is fully out there, we can easily see that go up by $25, $30 million the first year and double within probably 2 to 3 years, if not quicker. How we can get them out quickly. Now, truly intelligent wellness, because you can take this and they actually, when people buy them, come with a little stand you can stick an iPad in, or you can just link it to your phone. Now, so let's say I've just done yours, and so I'm going to say, well, let's help you. Look, she's got all of it. Let's help you. Do you want to know more about it, how it works, what the test means, everything else? Fine, give me your phone number. She gives me the phone number. I think straight to her phone. She is going to get full explanations, access to science. If she wants to be a science geek, she can. If she just wants to know the basics, she can. She's got a record. She can show her friends, the kids, the mum, the dad, whatever it is. But better than that, it's going to then start making recommendations. Because the big thing about this is the $200 million US that we've invested in the ecosystem around this. This, building this, strangely enough, was the easy part. It's the AI stuff, the algorithm that around it. It's the hard stuff. And this is where you go, oh my God. Because it is really complex to get this, so it's going to feed back and create a community and a support structure for people. And that support structure is where your business side comes out. It's not just going out selling this and selling stuff once. In the direct sales business, which we're in, like any business, there are strengths and weaknesses. The strength in direct sales network marketing is the initial sale. That me making contact with someone I know and getting them to buy something once. That's our strength. Our weakness is follow-up. People in direct sales network are hopeless as a group. Individuals may be different, maybe you're all different. They are hopeless as a group at follow-up. So how do you fix that problem? Right here. Daily customer engagement, feedback. Now she's on that phone, like it's all happening. There's an environment there, there's an ecosystem there supporting her health. That's very easy for me to plug in and do a little bit that will look like a lot. It looks like it's all coming from me, but it's all being done in the back office for me. And everything is just starting to happen. And as I'm seeing that roll out, and I've been in meetings where they're showing us behind the scenes, it's incredible. I haven't gone out and done roadshows like this for 5 years. This has driven me to, because this is a whole new ground floor business that people can do. And we can easily duplicate it and update it because we've got the range of products already. This plugs into, we don't have to release one new product. Once this is out, it's going to make recommendations about this or that and everything else. And for people based on the data that we get back. If you look at it simply, they get their score. They will then get product recommendations for products on subscription, which means they're auto-delivered every month, and they get a discount for that. And why do you want products delivered every month? Because otherwise, you get to the 20th of the month and you run out and you go, oh, I've got to nip over to North Ryde or Macquarie Park and get some more of that. But you're busy. So it's the 3rd of next month when you get over here. So your health's not improving because it's doing this. With supplementation, you need it consistently. So we have a subscription box, which is also good for our business. And then we have all the support that I was talking about, that ecosystem, that environment that's there to promote customer relationships, sponsoring people into the business, showing them how it's a simple, easy business that they can do. You just keep it really simple and allow it to co-create a community. Communities really matter, but if you're going to try and do it on your own, they can get tough, and it's then hard to duplicate. This is a system that's going to allow it to duplicate like crazy. And we've had a 40-year head start on it ever since the company was founded, as we've introduced our first nutritional products back 92, then 22 years ago we became the world's largest seller of at-home